when we started this journey, it was kind of at the end of the Bush administration, and there was a real, from what I can recall as a little boy, there's a real similar sort of sea change happening in culture and in politics, and it seemed like we were on really parallel journeys from what had happened, in the 70s and what was happening to us now. And it's interesting because they worked out quite similarly. People wanted to change, and they got it. So here we are, and now things aren't always as simple as just wanting the change, and once it's achieved. So anyway, when we started, it was interesting to be right there in the summer. That was the Olympics, the same as the Montreal Olympics in '76, and a really heady election. So.
One of the things that Mike has always said is that everybody goes, "Oh, SwingTown, haha, I get it," but that really to him the swing of SwingTown is not just about the idea of swinging, but also about the swing of the cultural pendulum, and that '76 seemed to be a point where it had swung as far in one direction as it could in terms of people legitimizing their own search for personal liberation, and looking ahead to what was coming in 1980 and beyond, we could see that it was about to swing back very sharply in the other direction, and that was one of the things that made this moment so unique and interesting, and also had parallels to today. And of course, we were very much looking forward to carrying the series forward to 1980 to see what would happen, but not to be.
And it's funny because Grant and Lana were friends prior to this.
Oh, were you?
And
I think
Grant.
Funny conversation.
Grant was cast first, but that's part of what brought
Hey,
you guys.
kid, you're not gonna get this. You're too young. Guess what, Daddy? I'm playing your wife.
After I was cast, she came to my house to work on the material for her screen test, and I was like, I'm 15, 17 years older than you, something like that. I'm a lot older than she is.
5 years.
And I just didn't think it was possible. But I guess I look younger than I am.
The magic of television. Talk to Hollywood.
Or I look. Yes, that is true. You do. You look great, Grant. Darling, you're so handsome.
It never bothered me that there were people that were so verbal about hating. Well, it bothered me a little, but it never bothered me to the point that it made me want to change anything that we were doing. And I think even there were people that wondered why the Paley Festival would want to honor this show, because some people out there didn't understand that this clicked very strongly with a group, a core group of big fans of television and storytelling. So.
The thing that's interesting is that our fans loved the show because they thought it was great storytelling, they loved the characters, they loved being immersed in another era, and the way that we were saying that this was a really good and interesting and nice time to be alive in American history. And it wasn't like the fans were like, oh, I can't wait to watch that hot, dirty show, because it wasn't that. And yet our detractors seemed, kind of maniacally fixated on that aspect of it.
Right. That threesome was a real...
It was a flashpoint, yeah. Which is good. Really? You want to provoke people.
Oh, yeah.
I knew it would be.
I just thought it's so surprising. I mean, I feel naive, but I remember at the beginning thinking, this is so tame. Like, what are people going to be, what could possibly upset people in this? And I was smacked the moment I walked into my grandmother's house. I mean, it was like, by my aunt, she goes, what kind of show are you making? I was like, oh my God. She's like, what are you doing? And then she called me something in Spanish, and I went, all right, that's not really me. I'm portraying a character.
Had she seen it?
Yeah, they saw it. My family had a hard time with me.
it's like I said, it's not.
But at the same time, my grandmother loved it, and she is extremely conservative Southern Baptist, and she watched it every single week.
Yeah, Irish Catholic grandmother, same.
And she would call me, and she'd be like, just tell me what's going to happen next. And I'd say, no, you have to watch the show, Mimi.
I mean, eventually they started to love it. Some kind of fell off. They couldn't watch it, one of my aunts. But my aunt, who's like a devout Catholic, who's also an actress, goes, oh my God, I'm just so proud of her. She's just doing so great. and like totally, saw past it, and she was very open-minded, so.
Well, I find it interesting that people have such a problem watching, consenting adults, not even really watching them. I mean, what are they doing, you know?
Conferring.
But watching them walk seductively out of the room to music.
Watch the door close.
While the door closes.
I think that I made out more than you guys did.
I think you did.
But they have no problem with the you know, there's a lot of procedural shows that show incredible amounts of violence and sexual violence.
Or teenage shows that
And
show
violence towards women, you know, and that seems okay.
The most disturbing aspect was that that small vocal minority that took exception to the show because they are organized that they got to advertisers, and you know on network television advertisers are key. And so it being summer when sales are a little softer anyway, in early weeks we lost a couple of prominent, huge corporations that buy a lot of television time, and that creates in certain. I mean, a network's job is to make money off a program, and that creates a certain perception that, that's why, for those of you who watch the show during real time, suddenly it was that Peter Fonda Flower Power old CD commercial that seemed to go on for 7 minutes. That's because Norelco was not buying time on the show.